Mr. Emeka Odom. He's a journalist, development communication expert, and public affairs analyst. You're welcome to the show.
Good morning, Emeka.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Good morning to our listeners.
You sit ready to dish out this morning. Okay, just quickly to this Port Harcourt refinery production issue. Do you see this as a welcome development to start with?
Okay, thank you so much. Of course, as a Nigerian, taking into consideration some of the things we've passed through in this country in the last 1 year or more, of course, every Nigerian will be happy to hear that the Port Harcourt refinery has finally come on stream. Remember also that for more than 5-6 occasions, we've been promised that the refinery will come on stream. So it hasn't, and I get this time around unannounced, uncelebrated, and Nigerians just woke up one morning and heard that the refinery is now working. Although also, there are, conflicting information coming from that angle, but for me, some say, I read in the social media, some say that it's not entirely, a fully refurbished refinery to refine, crude in the sense that we know what refining is, and the others are saying that it's just, what we call blending. These are technical terms that are used in the refining of petroleum products. Now, I also read the rejoinder by the Nnpc, disclaiming that. But my attitude is, whatever is the case, whether it is cracking, whether it's a refinery, whether it's blending, whatever thing it is, finally, trucks can go into that refinery, load some petroleum products, and leave, and right into the Nigerian market. It is a welcome development, and it is something we look forward to. Ultimately,
You say trust can go into that refinery, and let's not forget that in March 2021, that the government had acquired about 1.5 billion naira, $5 billion actually, to renovate and modernize this same refinery, and it failed 7 good times. So why is this one different? How is this one different in any way?
As a matter of fact, if you know the history of petroleum products refining in this country, it goes beyond even earlier this year. Now, let me not go back as far as the military regime. Let's pick it from 1999. You know that Nigeria has 4 refineries. One located in Kaduna, one in Warri, and 2 in Port Harcourt. Now, under normal circumstances, if you look at among all the countries that all the OPEC, the OPEC countries, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, Nigeria is particularly about the only country that does not boast of a very robust internal petroleum refining capacity. I mean, and it's very disheartening. And so when you put that into consideration, you may now ask, why can't we, with all these 4 refineries, why is it that not even one of them can produce? A lot of things. If you also take into consideration the account by the former presidents, President Olusegun Obasanjo not long ago, on his own account of the issues with the internal refining capacity of Nigeria and vis-a-vis the 4 refineries, you will also now know that all of these things that are happening cannot excite anybody, at least not me, because for me, a lot of money has gone into that place. And why can't we have governments that come and go, end up promising? I remember very well in 2015, when President Muhammadu Buhari came into power, one of the things that we were promised was the refineries will come on stream and begin to produce, because Nigeria was importing petroleum, and we heard all kinds of news. Oh, it was eating very deep into our purse. Oh, Nigeria is paying so much for subsidy. Nigeria is doing that, but if you can refine, all these things will stop. Now, Nigerians came at the heel of that expectation. Eventually, it didn't happen in the last 8 years. That in the past 8 years that he ruled Nigeria, and now coming into this thing. And so that is why, at least for this to be happening, there is an air of excitement. Okay. Of course, also I agree with you that a lot of money has gone into maintaining the refinery, what they call the turnaround. In fact, some people have even said that, look, or if you aggregate all the money that has been spent in the turnaround maintenance, that's what it's called technically, that can actually get Nigeria another refinery of a medium capacity, a modern refinery. But that is not happening. And so these are a lot of questions to ask, a lot of questions demanding answer. But ultimately, the average man on the street wants, if you drive into a gas station, open your tank, let them fill it without necessarily chunking off a part of your flesh to pay for it. So that is what we want. So whatever other the technicalities it takes them, whether it's please let them get it. And so that's why this news is exciting. Of course, we need to take it a pinch of salt. There's no doubt about that, because accountability is also very important. But let the finalists work first, and I guess that is where we are now.
Yesterday, there was a news about this refinery issue that they are setting the price, the pump price, 75 naira above Dangote's price. And now today's newspaper is saying that dealers are threatening. Dealers and marketers are threatening boycotts because NPCL is as if they are trying to boycott or hoard the pricing portal. They want it to be monopolized. So, are you still going to see anything good coming from this particular development if the price is going to be, please, 75 naira above Dangote price?
No, you see, the thing is this. Again, let me take you down to what I said earlier on. Everything about petroleum in Nigeria is a sensitive issue, right? Now, and if you look at the PIB Act, one of the beautiful things about the PIB Act is when you say it deregulates the entire industry. And when you talk about the regulation, it's a whole vast area. One of the things that are embedded in that law is that everybody is an open market. Now, including both the Dangote refinery, both the Nnpc, assuming the 4 refineries are working. Now, even an individual, you are free. If these prices are not suitable to you and you think you can get petroleum products cheaper by importing, you are free to go and do that. And so wherever you can find a cheaper product, as long as when you say you make your money, I mean, given all the foreign exchange and all the rest of that, so that is what we should be striving at. I'm not surprised that I read the news as well that at the Port Harcourt they were buying 1,000, over 1,000 naira, while Dangote is selling at 97. Yes, these things are likely to be, and that also, as a matter of fact, that also gives a little credence to the school of thought, the people that say, oh, that these people are really not refining, that what they are doing is blending. And of course, when you talk about blending, you talk about getting the components from another source and coming towards the last process of the refinery. And so that is what they are doing. So that also gives a little credence to that. But in all of these things, now that the refinery has come on, if the refinery itself is becoming far more expensive, let them go to Dangote and buy a cheaper one. As long as the products are open, and I'm sure with time, they will now, people will, if they are very expensive, people will boycott them and go to where it is cheaper. That is the simple arithmetic, and that is what the regulation guarantees you, that you are not compelled to buy, not even if you can buy from a foreign source, as long as it's profitable to you, you follow the procedures, that is it. That is the whole essence of the regulation.
So how do we achieve clarity and accountability regarding distribution and management of these resources across the country?
The truth is that Nnpc remains, yes, with the PIB Act, we are told that Nnpc is now a limited liability company. So it's not fully, a government company per se. But the truth is that substantially it's still a government company. And the activities they are subject to, they are subject to the Nigerian government control. And so if that is the case, then there's a relevant body in the National Assembly. We trust them to do an oversight function. So I can't be the one to ensure accountability in Nnpc. We have a body responsible. So let them go there, or because those bodies are established in holding, in the trust of the people. Let them go and do the right job. The truth of the matter is that people don't work according to expectation. They work according to inspection. So our various elected officials in the National Assembly, the security, the anti-graft agencies, they should hold them accountable. And the press should dig very deep into what is happening in Nnpc. A lot of times we have heard all kinds of news about things happening there, accusations and counter accusations. We should continue to beam our searchlight on, because that is the cash cow of the Nigerian government. And so naturally we have a right to know what is going on there. So accountability is sine qua non.
What is going to be the challenges? She asked you about accountability issue. Now, challenges, unforeseen challenges you think is going to emanate from this particular development? Because Dangote is here, and we saw what came out of Dangote. Nothing really happened. Nothing positive really happened about Dangote starting refinery. So, are we going to see something like that from this Port Harcourt refinery?
Yeah, you see, the reason why there's going to be the challenges are going to be pronounced is because of expectation. You know, before now, we've gone through with Nigeria. The Nigerians have been highly traumatized. You know, due to a myriad of issues. One, high cost of petroleum products, scarcity of petroleum products, and in some cases, adulterated, products in the market, although that hasn't been much pronounced in recent time. But however, these two other issues, high cost and scarcity, this has really traumatized Nigerian people. And when you are traumatized by a particular situation or instance, and somebody is pointing your attention to an impending reprieve, you look towards that reprieve with all kinds of expectation. And when the reprieve eventually, when it eventually comes, you expect it to be in the high heaven. And if it doesn't get there, you get really disappointed. And I guess that is what is going to happen. If you notice very well, before the Dangote refinery came into stream, we were promised, we were told, in fact, it got to a point in the last administration, the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, they were all looking forward to the Dangote refinery. All Nigerians were looking forward to it as it was a national, project.
Liberation.
Yes. Eventually, when it came, Nigerians got disappointed because we didn't get the reprieve that we were looking forward to. It didn't come. And so, eventually, the attention moved away from there to say, oh, the Port Harcourt refinery is coming on stream. Now it has finally come on stream. Beginning from 60,000 barrels per day.
Yes.
And if you look at that, that is probably going to be a little bit insignificant. Now, ultimately, you see, what is going to happen is that Nigerians are going to be disappointed once again because people are going to look forward to the crashing of petroleum products, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I remember very well that in one of the occasions, I was on air like this, and I did say Dangote refinery at the time everybody was looking forward to Dangote refinery. I did say that Dangote refinery was a private project. I also said that, of course, many people echoed it. Dangote is not a charity organization. He's a businessman who sourced capitals in hard currencies from various sources to put this business together. And what we understand business to be, his first priority will be first and foremost to sort out his creditors. That is very clear. And so whatever thing he's going to do, we didn't elect him. He's just a kind Nigerian. He could have started that business somewhere else. So after all, we've heard stories of so many Nigerians who cited refineries outside of these shores of Nigeria. We are media men. We hear these things every day. And so so he could have done that. But kind enough, he started there creating jobs, and having Nigeria as his primary market. But eventually, it didn't bring the necessary reprieve we were looking forward to. In other words, it wasn't the messiah that we were looking for in the petroleum production and the supply sector. Now that this Port Harcourt refinery has come on stream, it's still not going to be. Now, let me tell you what will ultimately be. Okay. Now, what will ultimately be is, one, a situation where the Dangote refinery is producing at optimum. Two, the 4 refineries that we have in this country are also producing. And other modular refineries. You see, because when you create a situation where demand is very high and supply is very minimal, you create a chaotic situation. Price will go up because a lot of demand will be chasing the fewer supply. And a simple economic theory simply tells you that the price will go up. Racketeering will come in, and all kinds of things will come in. But when you liberalize the entire sector, as we are told now, as we have the PIB placed in, so encourage even modular refineries. For me, I do expect that almost all the NDDC states to be able to have small refineries. It's also a business venture. They employ people, they create employment. Even if they have it as a primary target that to supply petroleum products within their states, let them meet the local demand in the state. Then if it's more than that, they can now supply to the neighboring state. That will spur other states. It's just like, I remember in this country, when universities in Nigeria where I remember I went to university when universities in Nigeria were just about 26 in number, 60 federal universities and 10 state universities in Nigeria. That was when I went to university. But today, we have over 300 something universities scattered all over the country, both private and all people. You see the way the ease with which people get admission these days. So that is the way it is. Let's have a lot of these refineries around. Let them be producing. And when they do that, even the petroleum product seller, whether you sell gasoline, whether you sell PMS, whether you sell AGO, whether you sell cooking gas, whatever thing you sell, if the local ones, you are not comfortable with them, and you think if you import and sell at the sell at the price there, people are willing to buy that, you still make up your money, go and do that.
You talked about two things. Scarcity of fuel and
high cost of price.
High cost of price.
Yes.
Now, don't you think, even if we have all the other refineries working, don't you think that monopoly is going to come in terms of pricing?
No, there can't be monopoly, because see what you're supplying, just like as you are now. You see, if you're 10 in this room, you're selling the same. You just typically walk into a market, right? I remember there was a time in this country, for you to make a call, it has to be either through Nitel or nothing. How many people had access to telephone at that time? In fact, you got to a point that even one of an appointed official of the Nigerian government at that time did say, and is in the public domain, that telephone was not for the poor. These are things I think I was in either in secondary school and primary, in university when that statement was made, and we know the person who made that statement. We know his position at that time, that the telephone was not for the poor. Now, can that statement be relevant right now? It cannot be. So, but today, everybody has a mobile phone, not just the old analog system, but a mobile phone that can do all kinds of things. Why is this so? Because the entire system was liberalized. So, when you have a situation where the source of petroleum, as long as the regulatory authorities are up to their game, making sure that the right quality is only allowed to get to the market, for goodness sake, there can't be monopoly. But monopoly can only come in when the source is only one or twice. Like we have in the electricity industry right now. In the entire region, you give license to only one disco. And the disco can fling you left and right, center, up and down. You can't do anything.
From reports that we've gathered so far, that the Port Harcourt refinery has their price by 75 naira than Dangote. And why is it so?
Well, I don't think they've been able to, tell us why that difference. But remember also that a couple of reasons could be responsible. These are just theorizations. Number one is that it's very possible, very, very possible that even though the fuel is refined locally, a lot of capital has gone in setting, in putting that refinery in order. And so Nnpc now being more like a business venture. Remember, right now it's a business venture that has to, declare its profit and loss accounts to its stakeholders. And so they have a responsibility to ensure that they make profit. They have to, of course, the crude is gotten from Nigeria, no doubt about that, but this crude is also accounted for. And at the end of the day, putting into consideration all the cost of production, which so many of them, the materials are probably procured in the dollar with a high exchange rate. And so they are putting it at this point. But most importantly is that you need to understand that the reason why Dangote, under normal cycle, if you had listened to the statement released by Dangote when he brought his price down to 97 naira, 970 naira, he did say that he was doing this as a mark of appreciation. In other words, it was more like a corporate social responsibility.
So it's not like for the fact that he saw that the Port Harcourt refinery is coming up.
Well, that of course, that could also. See, these are all players now in the industry. So naturally,
he has to bring down something.
He must have a prior information. He obviously there's nobody can convince me that probably he never knew that this was going to happen, and so he could tilt his price a little bit. But no matter what may be the case, let's hold on to the reason he gave. It's like, look, I'm going to give you this at 50 naira. But actually, this is not what the price should be now. But I'm giving it to you to appreciate how cooperative you have been over time. Okay. So you could say that the 970 naira may not be the realistic price of what he should have been selling now, but he only reduced the price as a token to Nigerians,
Okay.
and which NNPC themselves is not giving that token. So they want to stay at what, these are just theories, but for me, I believe that NNPC should actually come out to speak.
Okay, let's keep it.
With the commencement of the operations in the Port Harcourt refinery, would you agree that it will curb youth estiveness?
Well, it's very possible. It's very possible, even though we may not, directly link the function of the refinery to say, oh, once the refinery has come on stream, that a lot of nefarious activities, youth restiveness, and many other things there are going to automatically disappear. No. However, there is a latent connection, and that is what I want to explain. You see, when the refinery is in full operation, a lot of business activities go on within the, within the ambient, within the environment. And a lot of these business activities, will engage not just the youths, many people. There are value chain of, Now remember, if the refinery is not working, it's in a moribund state, a lot of things come to a comatose. Businesses that are linked to the function of the refinery, the lifting, many drivers that will be working there, lifting, they need conductors, they need people to be busy, they need people to be, if you look at the clip you just shared now, you see a large number of people all wanting to, within that period, there are people who will be selling food around to the drivers, those who are waiting, there are people that will be hawking things, that will be, so a lot of value chain activities will be going on. But when the refinery is not working, it looks as if a lot of things are at a standstill. And I also know that if you have been to the Niger Delta, you find out anywhere all of these oil facilities, whether it's a refining outfit, whether public or private, or those in the oil servicing industry, and many other things are going on. When there are activities going on, everybody's busy, and so there will be less time to be involved in, a lot of other illogical actions. But when people are idle, that is actually the underlying factor. When people are idle, nothing is happening. Of course, you expect the devil to have a field day. Okay. But when people are substantially busy doing something, making money, it doesn't matter how little, they are fully engaged. There'll be less time to be involved in some of these other things.
It's just like how they say an idle man is a devil's workshop.
Exactly.